Hey everyone, welcome to the Acrobatic Arts podcast. I'm Loren, and I will be interviewing some of the top leaders and innovators from the dance and acrobatic industry. If you are a teacher, performer, student, or a lifelong learner like myself, you are sure to find these episodes intriguing and full of inspiration. Acrobatic Arts is passionate about providing current and relevant information for everyone. So please, sit back and enjoy as we share our passion with you and the world. Today we're talking about a new and exciting chapter for Acrobatic Arts. We have Sandra Elliott, the principal of Acrobatic Arts, and Vicki Fletcher, Acrobatic Arts course conductor, examiner, and our go-to when it comes to tumbling expertise. They are both here to discuss two groundbreaking new certification courses, the Back Tuck and Back Layout Certification and the Aerial and Back Handspring Certification. Welcome to the podcast, Sandra and Vicki.
Hello, everyone.
Great to be here. Nice to see you, Loren and Sandra.
I'm super excited to talk about this. Sandra, let's start with you. Can you tell us about the decision to introduce these new certification courses and what was the driving force behind their creation?
Well, we really wanted to be able to fully support our teachers in what they would be teaching in their classrooms, and that includes that high-level limbering and tumbling that we see in the pre-pro levels of the syllabus. So when we wanted to think about how we were going to do this for our teachers, we decided that we were going to revamp the aerial back handspring, the M2, and introduce this brand new course called the Back Tuck Back Layout Certification course for teachers. It would include all of the information and the skills from those pre-pro levels that would be made available to them more readily rather than going to an M3, which was only held once per year. And so they would have access to those courses globally within their countries or their continents.
All right. And Vicki, from a technical standpoint, why are back tucks, back layouts, front and side aerials, and back handsprings so crucial for acro dance teachers to master? So much, in fact, that Acrobatic Arts has created and dedicated these skill-specific courses.
Okay, so in our courses, the side aerial comes in level 7, and then our back handspring comes in level 8. So they're starting to come in those higher levels because they are a higher level skill. But that doesn't mean that our young ones, our 5, 6, 7-year-olds, all those guys, they all want to have these skills because they're seeing it on Instagram and everywhere, right? On YouTube videos, they're seeing everybody do these skills. So everybody wants them. Everybody feels that they need to have these skills, which is great because we do like them. And I love tumbling. So I do love that. But what we feel with Acrobatic Arts is that we need to make sure that everybody is ready for these skills. So not only is your dancer ready for these skills to be able to physically do them, but they also need to be mentally prepared for them as well. And same as the teachers. So we want to make sure that the teachers are ready to be spotting these skills. So that's what's great about our courses is that now that we have those specific courses that are going to work on just those higher level skills, when you come to say like a module 1, there's a lot of information that we give these teachers. So sometimes they're not retaining absolutely everything because there's so much to focus on. So if they're coming to a course where they're only going to focus on the side aerial or the back handspring, it's still a lot of information, but only on 2 specific skills. And they're 2 specific skills that need a lot of work, okay? So we want to make sure that, like I said, the dancer's ready and the teachers are ready. When you get into things like our back tuck and our back layout, those are even higher levels. Those are coming in our pre-pro levels. And it takes a lot of skill to be able to perform these, okay? So we want to make sure that in these courses, these teachers are going to feel confident because they only have the 2 skills that they're going to be focusing on for an entire day. So we don't expect that anybody's going to leave an 8-hour course and be a pro at spotting all of these things, but we're hoping that at the end of the 8 hours, they have a lot more confidence in doing it.
Makes sense. And with that, Sandra, can you explain how these new certifications fit into the overall Acrobatic Arts certification pathway? And what changes can teachers expect in their progression through the program?
So the module 1 is staying as it is. The teachers that are just being introduced into acrobatic arts and just getting to know us, they will start with their module 1 and they will get certified in that 2-day online course. Following that course, when they're ready, they are eligible to come into our aerial back handspring course. So it used to be called a workshop. It was called the Aerial Back Handspring Workshop, and now it is a certification course. So teachers will be taking a practical spotting exam at the end of that course. It's a 1-day course, and they will show their spotting ability in that practical exam. Once they have passed that practical exam, they are now eligible to go on to Module 2. When they take Module 2, they will take, basically it's almost all the same material as what we have had previously. We've just changed a few things to include those optional limbering skills from the pre-professional levels, which are those chest roll variations in Pre-Pro 1 and Pre-Pro 2. And then in Pre-Pro 3, we have the full scorpion to inverted scorpion. And then once they've done their M2, they will then culminate their experience or their certification pathway with the back tuck back layout certification course, which of course focuses on those 2 tumbling skills that come in our pre-pro levels. And they will culminate that course with a practical exam where they will need to show their understanding of spotting the back tuck and the back layout. And once they have completed all of that with all of the practical hours, then they are now fully certified through our pathway program, and they can enter dancers into exams right from primary all the way through to pre-professional 3. So what has changed a little bit between the old M2 and this new M2 is that once teachers are certified in the new M2, they now are eligible to enter dancers into exams from primary through level 8. So in order to enter dancers into those pre-pro levels, again, they will need to take that back tuck, back layout certification course. For teachers that certified in Module 2 prior to January 1st of 2025, their certification still stands as it was when they certified before January 1st, 2025. So they will be eligible to enter their dancers into exams at all levels.
Let's flip back to the technical side. And Vicki, what are some common errors that you've observed in the execution of these high-level skills, and how do you intend to address them in the courses?
Okay, this is actually probably my favorite part of our courses. So the one thing that we do is we love to analyze our dancers. So we will take some time where we will bring the dancer up and they will show us their side aerial, and the teachers will sit back and watch. And then we get to find the errors that are going wrong. Okay, so I find one thing with teachers, so for me to be a strong acro teacher, yes, the physical spotting of the skill is super important. It's crucial in keeping our dancers safe, but they have to be able to see what's going wrong with this skill and then know how to fix it. So if a dancer keeps doing something over and over again and they're constantly doing it wrong, they're going to injure themselves. And then also, if they're doing things wrong, it's going to hurt the dance teacher, right? So if a dancer is coming at me and they're throwing something incorrectly, they're going to end up hurting me. And I don't want that. And no teacher wants that, right? So I love the analyze student parts that we have. Okay, so these skills are happening fast. So our side aerial, our back handspring, our back tuck, our back layout, these are not like a static skill. So if it's a static skill, you can see what's going wrong with the legs and the feet and the execution of the skill. But when a skill is happening so fast, sometimes it's really hard for teachers to see what is going wrong. Okay, so this part of the course I love because we can sit back and see what's going wrong. And then a lot of the times they're not seeing it. So one of us on staff will point things out, they'll do it again, and then it's kind of clicking with the teachers and they can see what's going wrong. So that is a huge thing for me. If you go on our Certified Teachers Facebook page, you are always going to see videos that people are posting of their dancers that want to know what's going wrong. So that I think is huge in our industry, is that we need to be able to start seeing what's going wrong and know how to fix it. So side aerials, a lot of it is coming from where the body is going, the arm swing, the hurdle coming into it. Back handsprings, I'm really passionate on my back handsprings and how they are done, because there's so many things that can cause problems in that back handspring, but I'm going to say probably 80% of the problem is going to come from the sit at the beginning. So in our courses, we really go through tons of drills so that the teachers can start these dancers younger at learning these drills and making sure that they're building the proper strength and the proper flexibility for them to be able to do them safely. But then they can start doing these drills earlier, and they're not going to start right at level 8 when that back handspring comes in and they say, oh, we got to teach this back handspring. That might take them 2 years for them to learn this back handspring, or they may never learn it at all, but at least they can be working on the drills to make sure that they have that proper strength and flexibility beforehand. When it comes to things like the back layout, a lot of the time that's coming from the connection. So we spend a lot of times on round off. So round off is a huge problem that comes with the layout, with them not driving their heels into the floor before they get into that layout position. The set is huge on back tucks and back layouts. That's a big thing that people aren't doing. The head position is huge. Oh, I could go on forever about, about things that could happen. But like I said, it's my favorite part in the course is that we talk about all of those things that are going wrong, and we are going to give those teachers ways to fix them. So we're not just pointing them out and saying it's coming from the sit. Well, we're going to say it's coming from the sit because this dancer isn't doing this, but now we're going to give you ways to fix that. Does that make sense? We're hoping when they leave that they can actually start to really see what's going on. And again, this is an 8-hour course that they're doing this. This comes with time. Like I've been doing this for 36 years. So I can see what's going wrong with a lot of the skills, and it's just going to come with practice, right? So the more time they can do that, the better. And our courses then really give a lot of hands-on. Like we can go up to the teacher and say, okay, you're spotting this wrong. This is where I need your hand. So a lot of those problems in the skill could be coming from the teachers and the way they are spotting them. So we're going to give them different ways to spot, right? They might have something set in their mind of a way to spot it, and we can give them different options. And the way they're doing it, like I said, could be the cause of the problem. So yeah, common errors. I could go on about those.
I know, Vicki. And actually, when I'm teaching with you too, I love when you do the common errors. So you're basically saying that the courses will teach the physical spotting, but also the mechanics of the skill, and then how to see things and fix things.
Absolutely.
So, we have it all in the courses. So I think that's fantastic. Now, I don't know who wants to answer this next question, but can someone walk me through the development process for these courses and how much time and effort went into creating these 2 new certifications?
I'll take that one, Vicki. All right. So most of the drills and the progressions were already in place in the syllabus, the AcroDance Resource Center, and as we put together M3. So that part of it, that development of the actual material, like what Vicki just alluded to in her last answer, that's all been taking place over years and years and years and years, even previous to when Acrobatic Arts was a company and all of our teachers and staff members were training their dancers in their own studios, and we all came together. We took all of that material and we just reallocated it into different courses. So the actual taking of the material and putting it into the courses in the different ways, that took us approximately a year. We did expand on some of the drills and added a few things here and there. But that whole process of taking the syllabus and the supporting materials that we have, that took us about a year to get all of that together and to make sure all of our admin processes were in place to be ready to launch for our Australian tour, which just happened in this last January.
And I know Vicki and Sandra, you were instrumental in creating these 2 certifications. So thank you for all the time and effort you both have put in.
It was great. It was a joy to do that.
It was.
Vicki, why should teachers who already have experience with these skills still consider taking these certifications?
To me, you should just never stop learning, right? And like I said, teachers get set in their ways. So I get very set in my ways of how I do things, but I do things because works for me. So sometimes somebody might have a better suggestion. So even when I'm teaching the courses, somebody might have an idea of how to spot something that works for them. And then I try it and go, oh, I really like that. Right? So to me, I strongly believe that no matter how long you have been teaching anything, that you can continuously learn, right? So it doesn't matter what style of dance you are teaching, you should constantly be upgrading. I am constantly open to other ideas. So I think all teachers should do that. I think we should really learn from each other. And I feel like the more confident they are, the more confidence their dancers are going to have in them. So sometimes I go to a course and I go to spot somebody and I can tell that dancer's very nervous. They don't know who I am and I'm going to spot them and they're a little bit nervous. Where my dancers will throw anything knowing that I will get them. They have that confidence in me. So I'm hoping that these teachers then can come and take these courses and feel more confident in themselves. So if they are more confident in themselves, their dancers are going to feel more confident. And that would just, like Acrobatic Arts, we stress so much about progressions and safety on things. So I feel like every teacher can learn something from these courses. And whether they learn it from myself or another staff member, or whether they learn it from another teacher that's in the course, I just feel like we all have room to grow. And these courses are great for that.
Most of our listeners are probably getting really excited. So I'm going to mention that these courses will be available in the UK and as part of the North American tour this summer. For specific dates and locations, you can always visit acrobaticarts.com and check out the training courses section. And teachers, don't miss out on this opportunity. I'll make sure we put it in the show notes so that you can have all the info. Now, when I'm looking at the prerequisites for these courses, I see a strong emphasis on practical experience. Sandra, could you explain the reasoning behind this?
Yes, so each course is a prerequisite for the next one. And part of the reason why we wanted to readjust these courses was to allow for more practical opportunities for teachers to spot and to get experience with the added drills that they could immediately take back into their classrooms. Now, depending on how the practical exam goes, most teachers will have practical hours to do prior to receiving their full certification. And we really believe that that's vital for their opportunity to internalize the course materials and to develop their skills as spotters and teachers. Just like Vicki said, knowing how to see something, know what's going wrong with it, and to be able to correct it. So that practical practice in their classrooms is going to be vital for them to really embody all of that material. And just to reiterate one more time, in order to attend the Back Tuck Back Layout course, teachers must be M2 certified. They can do those courses back to back. They just won't receive their Back Tuck Back Layout certification until we know that they have passed the qualifications to be M2 certified.
Sandra, maybe just go through one more time. If you were a brand new acro teacher and you wanted to study with acrobatic arts, what's the order of the courses?
So if you're younger than 18 years of age, you can take our Assistant Teacher Certification course. Once you turn 18, you are eligible if you have the prerequisites, which could include having your Assistant Teacher Certification or having a certification from another body like the Royal Academy of Dance or the Canadian Dance Teachers Association. There's a list on our website of those prerequisites. So once you're 18, you can take Module 1. Once you have certified and completed everything required for Module 1 and you're Module 1 certified, then you proceed through our Aerial Back Handspring certification course, followed by our M2 certification course, and then lastly, our Back Tuck Back Layout certification courses. And each of those steps have requirements to meet along the way. Does that help?
Certainly, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Great.
Vicki, as we wrap up, what's the one thing you hope teachers will take away from these new certification courses?
I think I kind of said it in the last question, but I think the thing that I want them to take away the most is confidence. So I want to see that they're becoming more confident in the spotting of the skills, more confident in the drills and more confident in knowing and recognizing when their dancers are ready to start these skills. So some of these teachers, I think, are feeling the pressure from parents, from social media, that they need to be starting these dancers so much earlier than they actually should be to do these skills. So I'm hoping when they leave, they have the confidence in knowing when that dancer is ready, and they actually have the confidence in themselves too, that they can speak to those parents and explain to those parents why their dancer is not ready to be doing these skills. But then once their dancers are ready, I hope that they build that confidence in knowing how to spot them, being able to see what's going wrong with the skill, and knowing how to fix that. So those are probably the top reasons that I'm hoping, or top things that I'm hoping that they leave with.
That was fantastic. I want to thank you both so much for sharing your time and expertise with me today.
Thank you for having us. I absolutely love talking about anything to do with acro.
Thank you, Miss Loren. It was so great to visit and chat with you today.
Thank you, Sandra and Vicki. It's always a pleasure to learn from you both. To our listeners, be sure to check out the course details and sign up for a certification today. Subscribe and share this episode with an acro teacher who would love to learn more. Together, we can keep raising the standard of acro training. Remember, every great skill starts with a strong foundation, so keep training smart and keep flipping towards your goals. Thanks for listening, everyone, and have a great day.